So maybe taking in a deep breath, exhaling long. And on a long exhale, just noticing how the body feels. Paying attention to whether there's tension or tightness anywhere. Whatever you find is welcome in this moment. So welcoming yourself exactly as you are. Noticing what's in the mind. Maybe there's a lot in the mind right now, maybe not. And that's okay. Just acknowledging what's here. So eyes open or eyes closed. You'll notice that I keep my eyes between open and closed because I like to keep an eye on you as well. But you have nothing to do right now, nowhere to go, then just being here. So you can keep them open, you can close them. If you do keeping them open, then just lowering the gaze can be really helpful as to give the message that we're looking inward and not outward. And seeing if there's any way that you can give yourself a kind, warm welcome right now. Whatever that means to you, maybe taking in a deep breath, maybe giving yourself a hug. Maybe it'll come in the form of holding your thumb. Maybe just allowing the tongue to kind of release and go to the bottom of the mouth. Just letting go of whatever it is that you have planned, whatever's on the agenda for this moment. Just letting things be exactly as they are. Noticing your feet, the body that's already here. Now, whenever you're ready, just bringing your attention to your breath, feeling the body breathing. And if you notice yourself controlling the breath as soon as I say that, just noticing that control, and it's okay. And allowing yourself to just follow the in-breath from beginning to end, the out-breath from beginning to end. Coming into complete stillness in this way, observing the body, breathe, noticing how the body just settles here. Maybe taking in a deep breath with me. And on a long exhale, just allowing for the shoulders to drop, the jaw to release, softening around any tension or tightness that might be here. There might be a lot of narrative, commentary, whatever it is that you become aware of. The mind is always narrating. It's okay. There's no reason to suppress it or make it go away. There's absolutely nothing to do here. You're here and you're paying attention. You're doing this perfectly. So just allowing yourself to settle in the moment. And seeing if you can just allow your attention, but in a really kind, subtle way, to just rest right here in the body. Maybe sensations in the body, maybe coolness or heat. Maybe tightness, relaxation, numbness or heaviness, whatever it is. Just becoming aware of the experience in the body. Perhaps you can feel the breath in the body, maybe the coolness of the air coming in, the warmth as it leaves the body. And as you sit or lie or stand here, now maybe becoming aware of any sounds around you, noticing the sounds, and instead of really labeling them or going into story about the sound. Really focusing on the rhythm, the pitch, the volume. Approaching sound as if it was the very first time you ever heard it. Bringing some kind, loving curiosity to sound, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. And noticing what rises for you. If you're wearing noise canceling headsets, maybe noticing the silence, the absence of sound. And in this way, we become open to receiving the gift of sound. And as you do this, noticing how the body responds to it. Noticing how the mind responds to it. Noticing how the heart responds to it. And the tendency of the mind to want more of what's pleasant. So whenever we consider a sound to be pleasant, we're okay with that. We might even want more of it. But when it's unpleasant, when we consider it pleasant, we push it away. We don't want it. And you might notice the rise of an emotion with that too. So just becoming really aware of your experience right at this moment. As you pay attention to sound, how does the body respond? How does the mind respond? How does the heart respond? Is there an emotion that might be present? Is the mind responding with judgment? These are just thoughts, and that's okay. Just notice them. You might even notice that some sounds come with a vibration. Just noticing that vibration if you notice it. If not, then that's okay too. There's no particular way that you need to do this. You're paying attention to sound, noticing what happens in that interaction with the body, the mind, the heart. You're doing this perfectly. Whenever you notice the mind wandering, telling stories, getting away from sound, just really kindly escorting your attention right back to noticing the sounds here, sounds in the room, sounds within yourself, the absence of sound, sounds outside. The invitation to listen deeply. And as you practice listening deeply, noticing this interaction between the body, the mind, the heart, with the sound and what is played, and given the gift to just listen. If there is judgment, if there is narrative, just noticing that and coming back to what is felt, what is sensed, what is thought, without entertaining any of them, but just noticing them. Noticing how we automatically react to sound, to experience. And seeing if you can just go back to noticing while listening deeply. And can we approach one another as if it was a plea to just being heard? As if they were saying that line from the poem that goes, all I ask from you is to just listen. So American poet and naturalist and philosopher David Thoreau said, "The greatest compliment that was ever paid me was when one asked me what I thought and attended to my answer." The greatest compliment that was ever paid me was when one asked me what I thought and attended to my answer. So in our practice today, we're following up the pause, the relax, and the open that we've been practicing in the last couple of weeks. Taking a pause in conversation, relaxing into your experience. How are these words landing with me? Is there tightness? Is there tension as I listen to this? Is there an emotion? Is there a need for me to fix advice? And just noticing that experience. This is that attunement that we were talking about. Seeing how we relate to one another, turning inward, and noticing the ever-changing moment. So today we're exploring listening deeply. During this time, we open our senses, our mind, and our heart. We notice what is felt in the body as someone speaks, checking in with the physical sensations of the body. Is there an emotion rising? And becoming aware of our thoughts. Are there any judgments, opinions? And again, the need to advise, to fix. And can I stay with my own experience while fully engaged with another? And just noticing the energy of words as they fly out and they reach us. They touch our awareness and they offer true sensitivity. So as we've been reviewing Insight Dialogue, Gregory Kramer says that when you call onto mind listening deeply, let it be a call to awaken more fully into the moment. That is the step into mindfulness with particular attention to what is being said. And as you listen, mindfulness is alert with a question that goes something like, what is happening now? He says the ears are attuned, the heart is open. You're listening to another fellow human being. listening with kindness, letting the words and stories touch a compassionate heart, listening with generosity. And this generosity is filled with patience and unhurried by your personal agenda. So I invite you to enter the moment with nothing to accomplish, nothing to attain, no one to be, and dropping the burden of having to control anything. And allowing the pause to call for mindfulness, relax into tranquility, and accepting what comes to you. Acceptance is to the mind as relax is to the body. So maybe taking in a deep breath and just allowing these words to settle, noticing how you're taking them, noticing what's your experience right now as you listen, listening deeply. So when we open our hearts in this way, we do not interrupt our listening with our internal dialogue. So for the moment, we're free of the fixation of how we're going to respond, of our need to soothe, to fix, to impress, or even to dominate. And in this way, we just listen with kindness, compassion, responsiveness. So Rumi says, know that a word suddenly shot from the tongue is like an arrow shot from the bow. Son, that arrow won't turn back on its way. You must dam the torrent at its source. My interpretation of this is that there is an intention always in our words. There is an intention of what we're going to say behind what we say. And so that pause allows us to check in, bringing our mindfulness into play, allowing our mindfulness to take over and becoming fully aware of our intention. It's my intention to impress, to fix, to advise, to dominate. Would my intention alleviate suffering, or would I add more suffering? So really tuning into that, to that pause, and then relaxing into whatever it is that is happening. Noticing it, noticing the judgment of what comes up, and then just allowing yourself to rest in that moment with nothing to do, nowhere to go, but just being present, allowing for the gift of listening to another. So Richard Wiseman wrote a poem called The Paradox of Communication. And he says, the stream of sound leads me, spite night blinds eyes, through the shadow land. I scale your western wall with talk, talk, talk. Though your echoes bounce harmless off my hollow, heavy chest, each phrase falls armless down, cold damp, wells stuttered, and drop a flea, hoping distance, mouth forms an O, as we amble silent, until that stream of sound begins it all again. So I thank you for your kind listening right now, for your presence, for being here, for your practice.